See Pest Control, the highest and most reviewed pest control company in Arizona.
Jack here. My bonus Jack combo starting at $3.99 comes with fries, a drink, and a burger.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Welcome everyone under the lights at Mountain America Stadium. Boy, look at this stadium. If you're not here, shame on you. There's a long history of this facility. This is one of the biggest games ever played here.
This is the biggest game for these players, the biggest game for the city, the program, and even the valley.
Go up and go get it, young man. What a catch. Intercepted.
Buy your season tickets, because why would you not want to be in that environment?
Arizona State Sun Devil football. Buy your season tickets now at sundevils.com.
Turn up the action at Arizona's hottest casinos. The Diamond Rewards Card from Desert Diamond Casino is the only club where you can earn exclusive benefits like free play, dining, and so much more. Just one card unlocks all 5 dazzling locations, including the brand new Desert Diamond White Tanks. One club, 5 destinations. The Diamond Rewards Club at Desert Diamond Casino.
An enterprise of the Donna Austin Nation.
Bet with your head, not over it. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Staples presents That Was Easy.
Our office computers were from like 2012.
What? They had computers then?
Yeah, I don't know much about new tech.
Apparently.
So I went to Staples and saved big on an AI-powered HP laptop and HP OfficeJet Pro printer, which also came with 3 months of free instant ink.
And we're back in this century. During Staples HP Tech Event, save up to 35% on HP printers and up to 40% on AI-powered HP PCs.
That was easy.
In-store, online, and on the app. Into 11/1 select models only.
Hi, I'm Dustin, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. As director of diamond sourcing, it's my job to make sure every single diamond is worthy of a Shane Company engagement ring. Our team travels the world to see diamonds in person and handpick each one. That type of dedication only comes from working for a company that's been a family business since 1929. No matter your budget, your diamond is guaranteed to be the most beautiful because a friend wants you to pick from only the best. Drop by your store or shaneco.com and see for yourself. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Sprouts Farmers Market has fresh, better-for-you finds at prices you'll love so much, you won't want to leave the store.
Okay, I guess I gotta leave my happy place now. Back to real life. I got everything on my list. Cage-free eggs, organic fruits and veggies at great prices, all these amazing supplements.
Mom, we're gonna be late for jujitsu.
Do we have to leave? I just love it here so much. I don't want to go back to real life. I don't want to go.
Sprouts Farmers Market. Incredible finds at prices you'll love.
Fall savings have arrived at Mark Mazda in Scottsdale. Right now, you can receive $10,000 off the top of MSRP when you lease a brand new 2025 Mazda CX-70 or CX-90 plug-in hybrid.
The name to remember, Mark Mazda, Mark Mazda. On approved credit plus $998.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix. It's the lunch break.
Boy, these next 11 games sure are going to be fun. Welcome in another edition of the lunch break here on KDUS AM 1060. Chris Schubert with you for the next 2 hours here on the program. Producer Evan, he's behind the glass ready to take your phone calls, 480-864-1060. You can also hang out with us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. Let's waste a little time. We promised yesterday that if they did this, they would be the open to the program. And with the way that they won last night, of course, the Diamondbacks are where we start today's show.
Time for our top story of the day. It's the Daily Special.
With a 8-1 win last night, the Arizona Diamondbacks now find themselves just 1.5 games out of the third and final wild card spot in the National League. They are the first team on the outside looking in. With their win last night, they put the San Francisco Giants in their rearview mirror. Cincinnati Reds sit in the rearview mirror, and now just one team sits in front of them, the New York Mets, who start a 3-game series tonight with the San Diego Padres. So the invitation is open. They're in the mail. Go to your mailbox today. They'll be there. And that invitation is to Scoreboard watch the New York Mets. over these next 11 games because it is just a 1.5 game lead for them. They have not been playing very good baseball. The Diamondbacks have been playing excellent baseball since the trade deadline, one of the best records in all of the sport since the July 31st trade deadline. And I'll be honest with everybody. I know that you watch this team, they're barely above 500, and you're just not ready to buy in. You've seen this too many times. You've watched now 151 games of this team. You're not willing to believe again. I'm here to tell you, it doesn't matter how they've gotten to this point. It doesn't really matter how the rest of the season went. Who cares what happened in April? Who cares what happened in May? Who cares what happened at the trade deadline? Who cares that Josh Naylor isn't here? Who cares that Eugenio Suarez isn't here? Merrill Kelly is in Texas. It doesn't matter that those players were moved at the trade deadline because this group, this current group of players is playing good enough baseball to be that third and final wild card team. So it doesn't matter what has happened the previous 151 games. What matters today is that with 11 games to go on the calendar, the Arizona Diamondbacks are the first team on the outside looking in. They're 1.5 games out of that third and final playoff spot, and their playoff odds have shot all the way up. I saw them this morning in one place at 7.8%. They were 1% a couple of weeks ago. They were 4.9% when we looked at them yesterday. That win last night moved them up nearly double to 7.8%, and they are in the driver's seat amongst themselves, the San Francisco Giants and the Cincinnati Reds. Now, they need help. They need help from the New York Mets. They need to continue this brand of baseball. But just think about the situation that we all find ourselves in with 11 games to go. They're mathematically in it. It is going to take up until one of the final days of the year, if not the final day of the year, for them to have that E next to their name. You did not think that on July 31st. I didn't think that on July 31st. I knew that they needed to sell at the deadline. We talked about them needing to be sellers at the deadline, and it was still the right decision. You can't look at where this team is now and retroactively, with hindsight, go back and say they shouldn't have moved those players. They made the right decision in the moment. And they're, in some ways, being rewarded for making the right decision because the core that they have is backing up that decision to kind of get some pieces for the future, because that core is kind of leading a run here to where you got a scoreboard watch.
Looking from a 30,000-foot view, I think there's way more to think about it for what it means for next year. Imagine they sneak in. What have we talked about so many times on this show? You only got to win 2 or 3. With this core, they could win 2 or 3 against anybody.
And I see
then all of a sudden you get playoff revenue.
I see Michael over on the YouTube side of things saying, when they get in, how far can they go? And I think that's missing the point altogether.
It's about getting in, getting your young guys playoff experience. But let's say they do get in. Let's say they have to go to LA to beat 3. To take on the Dodgers in a 3-game series. You don't think there's a little part of you that plays a mental thing with the Dodgers?
But it's not even about that for me either. And I hear you. I mean, trust me, just get in, get a ticket to the dance. Who knows what will happen, right? The Detroit Tigers last year, and I know at times after the trade deadline, we wondered aloud, could the Diamondbacks be the 2025 version of the Tigers, right? We asked that question aloud, and we kind of said the Tigers were an outlier. The Diamondbacks are kind of proving that wrong, at least a little bit right now with where they stand. But the thing with the Tigers when they got in was a celebration of the work that they did post the trade deadline. It was never about them going on some type of magical run once they got there. It was just, man, what a cool story this is. It's good for that team, good for that fan base that they get to be in there. And now look at where they are a year later. Look at the value that run had for them here in 2025. One of the best teams in the American League. A team that everybody wondered, how could they follow up that success? Well, they had the follow-up. And so that's kind of what you're hoping for. Because let's be honest, if the Diamondbacks did pull this off, if they did make it to the postseason, I got to tell you, I honestly don't think that's going to matter what they do in the postseason. I don't think that's going to matter to all of us because this was, when they made the moves at the deadline to trade all these pieces away, this was supposed to be, this team's going to hit rock bottom. 2 straight years of missing the postseason. The playoff revenue was going to go away. The budget was going to contract. They weren't going to have enough money to spend. And everybody wondered, were they going to go back to those lean years of not being able to be relevant? And all I heard from people was how 2027 is really when they were going to compete. Because without Corbin Burns, without A.J. Puck and Justin Martinez, with the trades that they made at the deadline, they just don't have the pieces. They don't have the resources to get the pieces. They don't have the pieces. It's going to take a little bit. This team is proving to you right now that they may not be that far off in 2026 from being relevant because they're relevant today. And I said it yesterday, and I'm going to repeat it again today. I don't care what their record says. I don't care the way they played in April. I don't care the way they played in June. I don't care the way they've played through the 151 games before this conversation here today. What I care about today is they have 11 games left on their calendar. And if Zac Gallen's going to continue to pitch the way he pitched last night the rest of the way, boy, do they have a chance. If this offense is going to be able to put up 8 runs like they did last night, boy, this team is going to have a chance. If Jordan Lawler is going to come off the bench and have an RBI hit as a pinch hitter, this team has a chance. If Torey Lovello is the manager of this ball club, this team's going to have a chance because that's the other little secret about all of this. Torey Lovello has done a fantastic job keeping this season on the rails. He has done a fantastic job keeping these guys motivated for playing. You got Blaze Alexander playing hurt. You got Corbin Carroll playing through stuff. You've got everybody understanding. Okay, I get it. We're 76 and 75. We're barely above 500. We're barely a 500 club. That might be good enough to get into the postseason this year in the National League. So you know what? You don't say sorry about it. You just play the remaining 11 games on your calendar, and you see where the chips fall. Now, you have work to do. You have to make up a tiebreaker over the Mets. You have to gain those 1.5 games back. But you're watching them. You're the biggest Padres fan in the world the rest of this week. You're rooting the hardest you've ever rooted for the San Diego Padres this week. And the other important thing that I want to say here, because if we were looking at this statistically, this still ends with the Diamondbacks missing the postseason. But here's the one thing I will say to all of you. Enjoy this. Enjoy that in a year that was going south very quickly, it didn't actually go completely south. That this team for 151 games has stayed relevant. And for at least the next week is going to still be relevant. They got knocked out on the last day +1 last year. And it looks like for another year, a second straight year, it is going to come down to the wire for this Diamondbacks team. Maybe the luck will be on their side this time. But how can you not? How could you not clear your schedule today for when the Diamondbacks play? How can you not at 4:10 be paying attention to the Padres in New York playing against the Mets, rooting for the Padres, started at 4 o'clock, national TV. Believe that's a TBS game tonight. How can you not have that on the phone, the tablet, when you're at home watching? It's a good chance that when the Diamondbacks start tonight, they'll know if they have a chance to be just a half game out of a playoff spot when we get here tomorrow. Just enjoy it. This was not supposed to happen after what they did at the deadline. Credit to everybody involved. Credit to the players. Credit to the leaders of this team, Perdomo, Carroll, Marte. Credit to Zac Gallen for leading a pitching staff where he's the lead guy. Credit to Torey Lovello for keeping this team on the rails. And I know yesterday we kind of poked fun at the meltdown meter and worried about being upset at the end of the year about the meltdowns that this team had potentially being the reason why they missed the postseason. I don't know. Just enjoy this. Just enjoy what tonight is. Tonight is a playoff atmosphere. Just like last night was a playoff atmosphere. Tonight, even more so, because now there's nobody in front of you other than the New York Mets.
It's making the playoffs for this team is like expedited shipping, right? It only gets me to the result faster. You brought up the Tigers of last year. The Tigers got in and they made a nice run. They took it to Houston in Houston. Okay. But more importantly, they made the playoffs. Came back, addressed the needs they needed to, spent some money because they were able to make the playoffs, and got this team to be the pinnacle of the American League. Let's talk about the Diamondbacks for a second. 2 years ago, they went to the World Series. Chris, how many games did they win?
I believe it was 83, 85 that
84.
year? 84.
They won 84 baseball games. and they went to the World Series.
You just need a ticket to the dance.
Just get me in.
And this team is in a position to get in. They just got to play good baseball, continue to play the way that they played last night. And listen, there are all the reasons in the world for them to miss this, right? Bullpen has been a problem at times. Offense outside of the big three or big four have been a problem. What is your starting pitching after Zac Gallen? All of those are reasons to be concerned, right? Does Eduardo Rodriguez turn back into a pumpkin, right? All of the reasons in the world, because up until this point, they've given you all the reasons in the world to doubt them. I would just enjoy what these 11 games are. Go into it with the lowest of expectations. Go into it with the idea of we're not supposed to be here, but here we are. I'm just going to enjoy this ride for what it is.
You win tonight. In all seriousness, you got a chance to be a half a game back.
Yeah. A Diamondbacks win and a Mets loss in their opener against San Diego tonight puts the Diamondbacks in a position where with a win, they can be statistically tied on Wednesday with the Mets. They would be just a half game back at the start of play on Wednesday. When we get here tomorrow, a Mets loss tonight and a Diamondbacks win sets up the Diamondbacks to be a half game out of the final spot. At that point, it doesn't matter. I don't care what your record is. I don't care that you're barely holding on to being above 500. I don't care what your record is in one-run games. I don't care what your record is in the division. I don't care about any of that. I just know what the math in front of me says. And the math in front of me says you would be a half game out of a playoff spot. That's good enough for me to get excited about what, at that point, the final 10 games could be in the season. And we said the math was difficult, right? We did this on last week's show, that it was going to require a pretty Herculean effort for the Diamondbacks to do this. Well, they've done at least the work to make it this serious here with 11 games to go. And again, the schedule is daunting. The Phillies, the Dodgers, they've got some tough games here.
At least you catch the Phillies in a situation where they've won the division, right? If they take care of business in LA, they'll be a couple spots up in the bye standings. So you're in a position where maybe the Phillies are coming in a little bit lackadaisical on a West Coast trip. You got opportunity here.
You also just need to take this one game at a time. One day at a time. And the beautiful thing about last night is the game was never in doubt late. So you didn't have to manage it like it was a playoff game last night. You didn't have to treat it. You got 6 great innings from Zac Gallen. You had a comfortable lead at that point. You can turn it over to the bullpen, and you don't have to use your high-leverage relievers in high-leverage spots in a one-run game in the 7th, 8th, and 9th innings. You just got great starting pitching last night. If you continue to get great starting pitching, your offense does this, and these games are comfortable, it's going to allow you to have all of the options at Torey Lovullo's disposal when there is a close game, when there is that one-run game that they have to really make every right decision to come out on the other side with a victory. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the show. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream. We got a fun one here today. We got Overreaction Tuesday coming up here in just a little bit. We've got the NFL News Dump in hour number 2 of the program. I do want to reflect a little bit on Zac Gallen. Hit a major milestone last night. Only the 3rd Diamondback in the franchise's history to get to 1,000 strikeouts. So we'll talk about Zac Gallen's lasting memory, what he should mean to this organization, right? I do think there is sort of a mixed bag opinion on the legacy of Zac Gallen. And last night, getting to 1,000 career strikeouts, becoming only the 3rd Diamondback pitcher in history to do so, I think, at least for me, kind of crystallizes what his legacy should be to all of us if this does indeed become his final year here in Arizona. When we come back, the Cardinals, they are 2-0. But it may have come at a cost. That's next. The lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Ben DiNucci, NFL quarterback. I'm still going to introduce you as NFL quarterback. Being on the practice squad, what's the difference in how you're treated, lifestyle?
Honestly, nothing's different. I mean, there's 53 guys on the active roster and there's 16 on the practice squad. And the reality of the NFL is that guys are going to get hurt. There's a reason that these teams put a lot of effort into the practice squad, just like they do the active roster. It's really all the same. You're still traveling with the team. The pay cut's a little bit less, but at the end of the day, it's still great.
Live Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and the KDUS 1060 app.
Millions of fans agree. This Christmas tradition rocks. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, live in concert, presenting The Ghosts of Christmas Eve, the best of TSO and more. November 30th, 2 shows, 3 and 7:30 p.m. PHX Arena. Tickets on sale now at livenation.com. Trans-Siberian Orchestra, presented by 100.7 KSLX.
Live the horror at Universal Studios Hollywood Halloween Horror Nights. Select nights September 4th to November 2nd. Face your fears in post-apocalyptic LA in a haunted house based on the hit show Fallout and more. Event not recommended for children under 13.
Mornings just got better because for a limited time, McDonald's has your favorites for less. Start your day with the $5 meal featuring the Sausage McMuffin with egg, made with freshly cracked eggs, savory hot sausage, and melty cheese, plus crispy golden hash browns and a smooth 100% Arabica small coffee, all for just $5. But hurry, this deal won't last forever. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Every day begins with the promise of something new, a new perspective, a fresh start. At Banner Health, right here, right now, we're pioneering new ways to treat cancer with our own immune systems. We're among the first to treat Parkinson's with the patient's own cells. And we're a world leader in artificial heart implantation, all while training over 1,300 doctors every year. Impressive, right? It's just another Banner day. Banner Health.
Denny's has 5 slams starting at $5, like the 2-egg breakfast slam. Great deals on full meals like the Super Slam. That's slamming smart. 5 slams starting at $5. And now earn booth bucks with Denny's rewards. Find your booth at Denny's. Valid at participating restaurants and on Denny's.com for a limited time. Restrictions and surcharges apply.
Jim Rome here with the Rome Report. Over the course of a 17-week season, there is absolutely no reason any NFL team should panic after only 2 weeks, right? Wrong. If I'm the Bengals, I smash that panic button with a sledgehammer because franchise savior Joe Burrow is broken yet again. That turf toe he suffered yesterday against the Jags reportedly will require surgery, meaning he'll miss at least 3 months and maybe the rest of the season. That is the ultimate kick in the stick for the Natty, but it's not like they're not used to it. Sadly, this is becoming the norm for Joe Cool. Question is he simply a victim of bad luck or bad protection? As always, the answer is yes. And yes, injuries are a part of the game, but so is Cincinnati being cheap as hell. If you have one of the best quarterbacks in franchise history, maybe you invest in protecting your most important asset. Because even at 2-0, it says right here, their season is already over. I'm Jim Rome. Remember, you can follow me on Instagram at Jim Rome. Football season is back on Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, but on Prize Picks, being right can get you paid. So don't miss any of the action this season with Prize Picks, where it's good to be right. Download the Prize Picks app today. Use my code ROME and get $50 in bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. That's code ROME on Prize Picks to get $50 bonus credit instantly in lineups when you play $5. Win or lose, you'll get $50 bonus credit in lineups just for playing. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. You do have to be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
You need parts? O'Reilly has parts. Get 1 free set of brake pads when you buy 2 brake rotors. Upgrade to Brake Best Select pads for just $10. Or upgrade to Brake Best Select Pro or Import Direct pads for just $20. Product availability. Just one part that makes O'Reilly stand apart. Restrictions apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Overreaction Tuesday, coming up in about 10 minutes or so from now. Jonathan Gannon, head coach of the Cardinals, met with the media yesterday, and I think we were all awaiting eagerly an update on the trio of injuries to the Cardinals' cornerback room, Max Melton, Garrett Williams, and Will Johnson. And unfortunately, the update to the Cardinals' cornerback injury room is that there is no update right now on the status of those three guys. Jonathan Gannon, meeting with the media yesterday, said that didn't have any specifics, would update us later in the week. And I know we're all in a society right now where we want information instantaneously and we want to know the status of these three guys and we want to know if they're going to be able to play on Sunday, if they're out, how long they're out for, because our mind wanders. Just to compare it to another situation, in Cincinnati, Joe Burrow goes down in the game, and during the game, you're wondering if you're a Cincinnati Bengals fan, how long is Joe Burrow going to be out for? Is this a serious injury? And then when you find out afterwards that it's turf toe, and you find out that it's going to require surgery, and that he's going to need to miss 3 months, you start playing the game. You start doing the thing. You start going through the schedule. Can we win this game with Jake Browning? Can we win that game with Jake Browning? You try to do the math to make the team relevant when Joe Burrow could potentially return. It's just it's what we do as fans. We try to always retain hope, even during bleak moments. And while not the starting quarterback of the team, the Cardinals are dealing with that with their trio of injuries to their corners, to where everybody is wondering if they're going to miss significant time or any time, can the Cardinals afford to be without them? And yet, because we don't know the extent of the injuries, we don't know how long these players are going to be out for, it's hard to do that exercise. It's hard to know what it's going to look like on Sunday against San Francisco. You certainly think in the back of your mind, if two of those three players are compromised for Sunday, you don't like the Cardinals' chances with their secondary. You worry about what this secondary looks like without two of those three guys. They're already dealing with injuries in that group with Sean Murphy-Bunting with what happened in the offseason. They've already thrusted Will Johnson into a starting role. He's thrived in that role. And so you just need those three guys available because that is the strength of this defense. And so you just want to know. Unfortunately, we didn't get that update yesterday. I'm sure the next time we hear from Jonathan Gannon, which I believe will be tomorrow, we should have a little bit more of an update. And I hate that the update for all of you is that there is no update, but that's just the way things kind of progress here in the NFL. The Cardinals aren't going to want to tip their hand early here ahead of a very important divisional matchup against San Francisco. And they also may still be gathering information, and they don't want to report something about a player and it turns out to not be true. So could be a little gamesmanship of not trying to give San Francisco a leg up, but also game on Sunday. We hear from Jonathan Gannon less than 24 hours later. There could still be imaging. They could still be doing some physical therapy. There could be all sorts of different things going on behind the scenes where they don't know the extent of the injury. But boy, would it be a huge loss for this team to be without one of those guys, let alone multiple, which is potentially the worst case scenario, which is potentially the fear here, is you have question marks around all three of those guys.
I mean, we talked about this being one of the strengths of this defense. And now you've cut your depth to a really, really thin margin if you lose two of them, right? It becomes scary at what that means for the secondary. And then you start doing the win-loss game. You talked about it for the Bengals. I am sure that 90% of the people in Cincinnati who root for the Bengals woke up Monday morning and went through the schedule win-loss game one more time. I think that's the exact thing you would do with the Cardinals because we've talked about this offense. They scored 20 points last week. They probably didn't live up to the expectations that most of us had against the Saints. So now we're talking about a team that offensively hasn't really started to click and defensively has relied on some of their young corners to make plays. And if they're going to miss those guys, can they win against the Niners? What does that even look like? What does it look like in 2 weeks or how long these guys are out? And then you have to go back and reassess what's the win-loss game.
Melton dealing with a knee, Garrett Williams dealing with a knee, Will Johnson dealing with a groin. Knee, groin.
Is there a part of you that on the Will Johnson thing, a little bit of relief it's not a knee? Because obviously that's what's plagued him.
Yes, if you want to look at it from that perspective of the knee was the question mark coming into the draft process, and so it not being the knee does maybe make you go, this isn't already a reoccurring thing. But a groin is something just like a hamstring, just like a quad. It
can linger.
It could take 2 weeks. It could take a month. It could be fine 1 week, and then it's re-aggravated the next. And so you have to be very careful. And it's early enough in the season where I think they'll err on the side of caution. I will say, That's the benefit of starting 2-0. You do now have a little more wiggle room. You can err on the side of caution. There is no feeling of we got to get after it. We started 1-1. We feel like we gave one away early in the year. We got to make it up somewhere. So that's the benefit of starting 2-0. It's the benefit of starting 2-0 for Cincinnati. Now, it's 3 months that they're going to be without Joe Burrow, so they can't afford to just take a 3-month sabbatical and hope that it figures itself out. But the 2-0 start to the year does build you a little bit of a buffer. And so you hope that these things aren't serious, but we're talking about knees for corners. It doesn't when you hear what the 3 injuries are, you don't feel like you're going to see all 3 of them on Sunday, right? It just doesn't feel like it. 2 knees and a groin.
You imagine at least 2 of those guys probably aren't going to play.
And oh, by the way, you did see what happens when those 3 guys aren't on the field in the fourth quarter. Right?
Yeah.
You saw what it looked like when you didn't have all 3 of those guys available to you when the Panthers were making their comeback. So you are worried about what this looks like without them being available. So they're 2-0. Those 3 guys are banged up. We are awaiting an update. And I think it's unfair for us to try to figure out what this team looks like on Sunday, what this team looks like in the short and the long term until we know the full severity and how long they're going to be out for. If you told me that all of these are 1-week injuries, then I don't like their chances on Sunday, but long-term, it doesn't change how we view this team. If there's going to be some length behind these injuries and guys are going to miss significant time, that changes the calculus a little bit, changes the math. You're going to have to revisit the win-loss game. Just a huge blow to this team because that's one of the strengths of their group. And you feel like maybe you could withstand 1 injury for a little bit, but right now you have a cloud hovering over you of 3 significant injuries to 3 significant players to your secondary. And we saw it with our own 2 eyes, what it looked like when you weren't healthy as a group on Sunday. 480-864-1060, the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. When we come back, an Overreaction Tuesday, our overreactions to what we saw in week 2. Next, it's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Beerstein.
Everyone's against Detroit. They think that because they lost Ben Johnson, that all of a sudden Detroit and Dan Campbell are going to fold. I think they're still going to be good. Everyone that's seen The Water Boy, read by you, he had the green notebook. So once Henry Winkler's character gave Red Bayou the notebook, which is Dan Campbell, he was able to execute it. But I think Dan Campbell could Red Bayou himself.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Hosier presents the Unreal Unearthed Tour 2025, live in Phoenix. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater, October 7th. With special guest, Amble. Get tickets now at livenation.com. The #1 album, Unreal Unearthed, is available everywhere. For more, visit hosier.com.
Hey, it's Pat. The other day at work, they brought in pizza for lunch. So I swooped in and I grabbed 3 slices. The coworker next to me said, "Geez, Pat, you can't have it all." Then I corrected him and said, "Yeah, I can. And you can too. With a new 2025 Toyota truck. Power and performance, capability and reliability." Well, I must have convinced him because he grabbed the plate out of my hand and he said, "Good point, Pat."
Right now, get low 1.75% financing for 72 months on the new 2025 Tundra, or get 2.99% 48-month financing on a new Tacoma SR or SR5. To check out great deals on your favorite Toyota, visit your Valley Toyota dealer or valleytoyotadealers.com today. Toyota, let's go places. 1.75% with $14.64 per thousand BARD for 72 months. 2.99% with $22.13 per thousand BARD for 48 months. 0 down payment if you qualify. Offers exclude TRD Pro and Trail Hunter models and N93025. See dealer for details.
Cool off with a road trip to northern Arizona's beautiful AAA 4-Diamond Resort. Football freaks, crush our $57,000 pigskin pickup and score up to $500 free play weekly and up to $5,000 cash at season's end. Swipe your Players Club card at any kiosk to make your picks. Tuesday, 8 a.m. through Sunday, 10 a.m. For the following week's games, 15 players will score cash or free play. You'll love Zenith Steakhouse, awarded for excellence by Wine Spectator, the D. Rona Award for Excellence, and Open Table Diner's Choice Award.
Place to come when you wanna have too much fun.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP.
Son, do you know what time it is?
Your father and I were waiting all night for you to come home.
I'm sorry. So we could tell you that you're eligible to become a member of Navy Federal Credit Union. Wait, what?
Since your dad's a veteran, our whole family can join and get exclusive savings, discounts, and award-winning service.
Thank you. Now go to your room and think about what we said. All veterans and their families are eligible. Join today. Navy Federal Credit Union. Our members are the mission. Navy Federal is insured by NCUA.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KTUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Everybody else overreacts on Monday. We, on this program, overreact on Tuesday. It is an Overreaction Tuesday here on the show. 3 overreactions from each of us. We grade each other's overreactions. Some of the time, I agree with the overreactions.
Some of them. I think 2 of mine are probably a little much, maybe.
That's the point of Overreaction Tuesday.
Exactly, yeah. Do you want to start? I started last week.
I was just going to say, I believe it is my turn to go first. Should I go with the spiciest one out of the gate, or should I scale up to that one?
I think we scale up to that one.
Okay. I'll go with the one that I think is the tamest of the 3. The Colts win the AFC South?
I don't think it's crazy.
I mean, just look at the rest of the division right now. Take out the fact that the Colts are 2-0, although that does play a role in this. Is there anything about what you're seeing from Tennessee that concerns you? Absolutely not. You knew this was going to be a transitional year for that team. Houston is 0-2.
They're 0-2. That defense is good. The defense is good. They get after it. They're violent.
But they've got a 2-game deficit to make up.
Certainly.
And Jacksonville, what even is Jacksonville?
And there's back to Houston for a second. There's major questions about C.J. Stroud.
That offense last night, meh.
And Jacksonville, what are they? Is the best way to put it. I don't know.
I don't know.
I mean, they should not have lost that game.
Right, but they did. That defense was alarming, concerning late. So that's my number 3 overreaction Tuesday. How about this one? Speaking of the AFC South, Brian Callahan is the first coach fired this year.
Kind of like that.
Team is 0-2. He doesn't know the rules. Cam Ward's development is going to become a central focus of things. They had a lead at halftime on Sunday against the Rams. Got outscored, 23-6 in the second half of that game. And he was kind of a lame duck coming into the year. Now, I don't necessarily love firing a head coach after you drafted somebody number 1 overall, but when we don't know the rules, when we're getting outscored 20-something to 6 in the second half, we're just getting outcoached. We're getting outworked. And it's going to take a while for Tennessee to pick up their first win of the season. And the longer this goes, I think the easier it's going to be for them to make a change. So I have that as overreaction number 2. And the spiciest overreaction for me of the week, even with the injuries, I think the Cincinnati Bengals are a better football team than the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers in 2 games have given up 63 points.
And let's be clear, to the Jets and the Seahawks.
63 points to Justin Fields and Sam Darnold.
And if they keep pricing the unders in the low 40s, high 30s for the Steelers games, I'm going to continue to take the under.
And
the over.
And by the way, Steelers offense kind of brought back down to earth a little bit this week against Seattle. So even with Jake Browning under center, I like the Bengals to be better than the Steelers at the end of the season.
All right. Listen, I think you had some good overreactions. I think the Bengals one is probably your spiciest.
That's why I saved it for last.
Saved that for last. But I don't know if
63 points.
I don't know if I disagree with any of them. I think you're going to have a little bit of reaction to some of mine. We'll start with my tamest. The Chargers will win the AFC West.
That is very similar to the Colts winning the AFC South. They're in the pole position right now, but the reason why it's an overreaction is because they're in a division with the Kansas City Chiefs. And so it's 2 weeks in. You're setting yourself up to be the guy that counts the Chiefs out, and then they rattle off 12 wins in a row, and we look back on the week 2 overreactions, and we're like, boy, was that stupid.
And I also think the other thing, too, is I'm sorry, they won, and they won by multiple scores last night. There was a second there where you're like, oh, my God, they're going to blow this last night.
But they didn't.
They didn't. But there was a second.
Do we want to talk about it? We haven't talked about it. We're 3 segments into the show. You want to talk about your Raiders?
Listen, it was Gino's worst game in a couple of years.
It was concerning.
It was concerning.
Because you feel like that he could play that way every week.
I know. That's the biggest concerning. They have talent.
Brock Bowers not that involved last night.
No, I know.
Hurt me in fantasy.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know why I'm rooting for the Raiders, because the offensive coordinator, if we've learned anything through his tenure in the NFL, he can't coach. So
we do have to understand that you have a bias against Chip Kelly because he was the coach of your football team.
No bias at all.
I think very biased,
actually. Not at all.
So it was a tough one for the Raiders.
It was.
But no, I hear you. I mean, it's fair to look at what the Chargers have done so far and say they're going to win the division. But the overreaction part of it is, really? You're going to do that to the Chiefs in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
They're 0-2, yes. But really, you're going to be the guy that counts the Chiefs out? You're setting yourself up for failure.
And listen, we all know. They play the Giants. The Chiefs have a get-right game this week.
I mean, you want to talk about the schedule makers shining upon the Kansas City Chiefs.
Of course they did.
Sunday Night Football after starting 0-2 against the New York Giants, coming off of a heartbreaking loss. Russell Wilson's going to throw 5 moonball interceptions.
It's going to be bad. All right. So the first one was Chargers will win the AFC West. My next one, Daniel Jones' struggles were just a product of the Giants.
I like this. I mean, there are limitations to what Daniel Jones can do as a quarterback, right? And I think what you're seeing in Indianapolis is another offensive-minded coach. Shane Steichen and Brian Daboll, both offensive minds. But I just think there's a better supporting cast. I mean, the Colts aren't doing anything revolutionary.
No, not at all. Can I be honest with you?
They're handing the ball to their all-pro running back in the backfield, and they're throwing the ball to the good receivers.
The two things that really stand out about Daniel Jones getting to the Colts is it may be time, not maybe, it's time for the Giants to move on from Brian Daboll.
But you just drafted Jackson Dart. See, now we're taking Overreaction Tuesday in a different direction, but you just drafted Jackson Dart.
It almost doesn't matter. He hasn't played for him.
I know, but you're going to run into a Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields, Caleb Williams, Bears situation. How's that going for them?
It's not going well,
right.
But how's it going for Brian Daboll? His fraudulent Coach of the Year award.
In that year, he was very good, but since then, he hasn't done anything close to winning Coach of the Year. I don't think this is that much of an overreaction because I do feel like the infrastructure is better around Daniel Jones in Indy than it is New York.
From an offensive line standpoint as well.
But I do think a lot of the things that Daniel Jones is doing in Indy, they were trying to do in New York. So it's not like they've changed up the game plan.
They hung 30 on the Broncos this week. I don't know. I'm serious. I would love to look back. I don't know if a time the Giants with Daniel Jones have scored 30 in back-to-back weeks.
That's some great research that we could do during the break.
Yeah. And my spiciest one. After seeing Mac Jones play for the 49ers this week, it's clear they overpaid Purdy.
I don't. Do you have the stream up on your screen over there?
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to show everybody. You didn't know this. I'm going to show everybody. I have written down at number 3. I have QB, and then I crossed it out. I was going to have my take be QB controversy in San Francisco. I stopped myself. I stopped myself from going to the exact place that you went to. Because at the end of the day, I don't know how much Mac Jones is going to play. There's a chance Purdy's back this week.
There is.
So I don't know how much of a controversy there could be. The longer Purdy is out and the more chances Mac Jones gets to look like he did against New Orleans, I think your statement will pan out. And I think what I was going to write down is true. But if Purdy's right back in there, I don't think we're going to get enough data to prove ourselves right.
It's an overreaction. But if Mac Jones plays 3 weeks and looks good for 3 weeks.
If Mac Jones looked good for 3 weeks, there would be some takes about they overpaid for Purdy. They shouldn't have done it. And I think
would they be wrong?
No, I think you'd be right. I almost wrote it down.
What is it, 53 a year he's getting?
It's something.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. When you could just have Mac Jones throw for 300 yards and multiple touchdowns. I mean, just
without Kittle, by the way.
Kyle Shanahan just brings in quarterbacks, and they're just great for him. I don't know what it is. That is your Overreaction Tuesday here on the lunch break. When we come back, we will recap hour number 1 of the program, a little buy or sell to close out hour number 1 of the show, the hottest takes in sports talk radio. Producer Evan has them for us next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
James Out West, your desert destination for sports here in the Valley.
You've seen Shador. We've all seen him. He's, kind of everybody gravitates toward him.
He's got aura.
There we go. Thank you, as the young kids say. He's just there doing his job. He shows up early. He stays late. He's not posting it on social media to post it on social media to say, look at me. What you see is when he shows up to a neighborhood in which just got burned down, the apartment complex, and he sets up food trucks. I can't wait to see what happens for him, and I think that they have a good foundation for the future.
It's James Out West, every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Phoenix, are you ready to ascend? Bring Me the Horizon, USA Ascension Program, Part 1.
Every sky will build, my friend.
Taking over Footprint Center, October 2nd, with special guest
Crawling from hell.
Motionless in White, The Plot in You, and Amira El Fiki. On sale now at livenation.com. Bring Me the Horizon, presented by the Big Red Radio.
Hi, Luis Gonzalez here. Want to bet? Feel the thrill of Casino Arizona with 1,400 of the hottest slots and nonstop table game action. We make winners, no experience necessary. Join us for the best bingo in the valley with daily sessions. Indulge in all-you-can-eat Eagles Buffet or enjoy fine dining experience at the award-winning Choya Steakhouse. Enjoy top-notch local entertainment, tribute bands, and viewing parties at CAZ Sports Bar, just off the 101 in McKellips. Casino Arizona, uniquely Arizona.
Summer's here, and SRP wants to remind you that swim safety starts with W. That's right, W, as in Water Watcher. Keep pool time a good time by designating an adult who can swim and knows CPR. Be sure they avoid distractions, always scan the swimming area, and ensure that the pool gate stays locked. Assigning a Water Watcher is a simple step to help prevent drownings and keep everyone safe around pools. To get more water safety tips, visit srp.net/pool.
At Nationwide Vision, we help you step into every moment clearly and confidently. From quality eyewear and comfortable contact lenses to comprehensive exams and professional fittings, we make finding your focus a more enjoyable experience than ever. Right now, buy one pair of glasses and get the second one free, so you can live bolder, look sharper, and see better. Schedule an appointment today to find your focus.
On your ride home from work, join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
If we owned our own football team called the Angry Roosters and we kept signing people to contracts and they weren't honoring their contracts and kept demanding raises, at what point do we throw our hands up and just say no to everybody? We signed you to a contract. Play out your contract, and that's it. You earn a better contract on your next one, we'll pay you for that.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back to wrap up. I think I said recap hour number 1 in the tease. I meant to say wrap up hour number 1. I was thinking about it pacing the halls throughout the break because this is an update for everybody. For those who have followed this saga, the air conditioning in this room is still not working. So the moment that the segment is over, I have to leave the studio because it is very hot in here. And I was pacing the halls to kind of cool down. And I'm like, did I say recap hour number 1? That's not what we do. We wrap up hour number 1, and we do so the same way every single day here on the show, with a little buy or sell, hottest takes in sports talk radio. Producer Evan presents them to me. I don't know what's coming. I have to buy or sell them instantly. No thought.
That's really not true. You put thought into these. You put some of these on layaway.
I have. I don't know what our current layaway tab is up to.
We have one. Do you want me to give that to you?
There's only one current one on layaway.
There is only
I don't
one.
even remember what it is.
It's Corbin Carroll winning MVP in his career.
Oh, I put that on layaway?
You did.
Oh, I think because I wanted to see what it looked like next season with the swing. I'll keep it on layaway. I'll just keep making the payments. I'll just keep it on layaway. You think they still do layaway?
I have no idea. I've never put anything on layaway.
That's right. You are younger than me. I kind of forget that something.
Not that much younger.
There's 8 years between us.
It's fair, I guess.
There's 8 years between us. That 8 years, the difference in those 8 years?
Layaway.
Layaway.
Zac Gallen would start any game 1 for the D-backs if they make the playoffs.
Yes, I would buy the take. It may not work out that way because they may need him in the final week in an important game, and they'll reshuffle their rotation to make sure they start him in an important game. But yes, all things being equal, and if things were in a vacuum and they can just pick wherever they want, Zac Gallen is the game 1 starter. Yes.
Who do you turn to in game 2 and 3?
It's a fantastic question that I have not even given a second of thought because I never thought we would be in this situation to have this conversation. Who would start game 2? I cannot believe that this person's name is going to come out of my mouth right now. I think it's got to be Eduardo Rodriguez, no?
What? No, fastballs, man.
Ryan Nelson?
Yeah, we're going to fastball people to death in the playoffs.
Is Erod the third starter?
Is it him or Brandon Pfaadt?
It's a great question.
And is that a playoff rotation?
I got to tell you all of my chances with those 3 guys in a playoff series.
And if you have to go to 4, it's bad.
Zac Gallen on short rest would be my game 4 starter.
By the way, I forgot to touch on this to start. Yesterday was a historic day in buy or sell.
Okay.
5 sells. First time we've ever had that. We've had 5 buys. For the first time ever, you sold all of the takes.
I just want to give you a shout out. I appreciate that you pay attention to what I'm buying and what I'm selling. I say buy or sell. I believe what I'm saying. I then give you a reason for it. When I move on to the next take, I have forgotten.
To be honest with you, I keep track of the weeks.
I love that.
And then I just know that you've never had a 5 sell.
Sold 5 times just.
You sold 5 times today.
I
You got
bought-
all the money in the world.
I bought today, right?
But you already bought. You bought the first take.
Okay.
The Cardinals need to bring in one of the veteran free agent corners that are available.
I'll soft buy this because it certainly does seem like if you play the odds here, one of these injuries is going to be significant enough to where it's going to last more than a week. And maybe multiple injuries are more than a week. So, yeah, you're going to need to bring somebody in. You're going to need to work some guys out and maybe elevate some guys off the practice squad. You're going to need reinforcements. So, yes, I will soft buy.
And there are some guys available. I believe Rasul Douglas is still out there and available. I want to say that Asante Samuel Jr. is still available.
If I remember the situation correctly, I think he got a surgery recently that is going to take him out of action. Or he just had a surgery, and so he's not going to actually be healthy until October. I'm fuzzy on the details. But there was something that was the reason why he was still out there as a free agent. And I think he had a surgery that he's not fully recovered from, and he's not going to be fully healthy until around October.
If you're a team that needs a corner, though, why not take a chance?
Right, but in this instance, how does he help the Cardinals right now?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't.
So he can't be the guy that they go out and target because he doesn't fix the problem of I may be down 3 corners on Sunday.
Doesn't make sense for the Cardinals this week.
No. Does it make sense if he's healthy in October and the Cardinals are in the middle of a playoff push and they already know that their depth has been tested at the corner room?
Certainly.
Yes.
Yeah. After watching Sunday's game, I'm a little concerned about the Cardinals' offensive line.
You and I did a little bit of a film breakdown this morning. We're not even through the first half. There's some questionable plays for the offensive line in the run blocking. Now, in fairness, the Panthers have Derek Brown, and Derek Brown is a problem.
Very good.
There are some plays that he just blows up because he's Derek Brown, and it's not really anything the Cardinals
That's the first time I really watched him on coach's tape.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable how good he is.
He just moves people.
Yeah.
So far in what I've watched of the All-22, Isaiah Adams has been questionable at times. He's had some good plays, but has also had some plays that I think he'd like to have back. Jonah Williams has had some plays that I think he would like to have back. They're going to need to be able to run the football successfully for any of this to work. And there were some concerns. The PFF run grade was really bad this week for the Cardinals, where their ESPN grade was good. It was a very weird case of 2 different sources giving 2 different distinct results. There's a great Twitter account. It's Ben Baldwin, who does football analytics. And every week he puts the charts of run blocking, pass blocking for the offensive lines. He puts out the offensive line grades. And the Cardinals are in a weird spot where their PFF grade is low. And that's along the x-axis?
Yeah.
And along the y-axis is the ESPN win rate for offensive lines. The Cardinals somehow are in the top left, meaning they have a bad PFF grade, but a really good ESPN grade. And they're like by themselves because...
I think I would rather have a good PFF grade.
Which is then troubling because they were one of the worst teams in football last week when it comes to that.
Yeah.
But it is weird that 2 different metrics spat out 2 different results.
It's so objective with offensive line at times.
It's hard thing to grade.
So objective. So
because you're guessing in many ways what the assignments are supposed to be.
The problem is you don't know the blocking scheme.
You and I are kind of guessing at it when we put it up on my big screen TV. We're trying to assume.
Okay, whose assignment? Like who? When on a blitz too, you're like, okay, 5 most dangerous. Who do I like? Who are they?
Is this a play where the running back is staying in and helping, or is it a design I'm getting out of there right away? All sorts of different wrinkles to it. Yeah.
So many questions. So with that being said, are we buying or are we selling?
What was the take?
After watching Sunday's game, I have a little bit of concern about the Cardinals' offensive line.
Yes, I'm a little bit concerned, and I didn't need the All-22. The 82 rushing yards that the team had is the concern for me.
In week 1, you gave up 5 sacks, and not all of them on the offensive line, but a glaring number. In week 2, you played a team that gave up over 200 rushing yards in game number 1, and you only had 82.
So now 2 weeks, 2 different sides of my offense, not going well.
Yeah,
with my offensive line. So yeah, I would say concerning.
Sunday's Eagles-Chiefs game will be the reason the tush push is banned.
I mean, I think it was the final straw. I think we were close to getting it banned this past summer. But it's just, I'm going to try to speak reason to you as an Eagles fan. I think we would all agree that when watching football, we don't want the officials to be put in a spot where they don't know what to do. And I think even you, the Eagles guy who sees your team run the play successfully, would agree. There's really no way for the officials to do anything on that play.
No, it's a tough play. It's a tough play it's a tough area to spot the ball. Like, to get a spot out of it is really tough, on top of it's hard to see if people jump early. Let's be real. Like, the Eagles are moving early, but the Chiefs were lined up offsides on every snap. Right, so it's both teams.
But what am I supposed to do as an official?
Right. That's the question. And I don't think I'm unreasonable about the tush push. I think to sit there though and say that the reason is because the Eagles are better at it. Other teams are trying it and not as successful.
Buffalo's really bad at it.
And so, yeah, if it came to the entire league was just really good at it and was unstoppable for every team, okay. But because it's just the Eagles, I think it's going to be harder to get banned. But this game on Sunday just became a really massive problem.
And by the way, we mentioned the tush push. I showed you because you hadn't seen it before. I showed you the Bush push.
Yes, the Bush push.
You had not seen. you had not seen Reggie Bush
Push Matt Leinart.
two-hand shove his own quarterback into the end zone to beat Notre Dame. That's why people, they go back to that play as to you're not allowed to do that. And the tush push is a very similar version of that. Hour number 1 of the program in the books. Hour number 2 right around the corner. We'll talk a little fantasy football and how it is pointing out the Cardinals' problems. That's next, the lunch break. KDUS AM 1060.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Phoenix, celebrate culture, community, and football. Join Phoenix Rising on Saturday, September 20th at 7 p.m. for Hispanic Heritage Night as they face off against Loudoun United FC. The first fans through the gates will receive free Rising maracas while supplies last, and the night features live mariachi bands and a special menu honoring the flavors of the valley. Tickets start at just $15. Get yours now at phxrisingfc.com. Color, culture, rising together.
If you could rewind 10 years, what would you do differently? Buy Apple stock at $20? Skip the Ghost Pepper Challenge? Maybe even rethink the skinny jeans. Nate here, owner of Blue Sky Pest Control. Some regrets are harmless, termite damage isn't. You can't go back in time, but you can keep termites from eating your future. Call 602 Blue Sky today for your free termite inspection. Hello, Blue Sky. Goodbye, pests.
Stay at the heart of it all with a special Cliff Castle room rate starting at just $99 with no resort fees. Less fees mean more ways to choose your next adventure at the gateway to the region's best gaming, entertainment, and natural wonders. And expect service from the heart as well. We think you'll love your stay with us and all the value we provide, starting at just $99 with no added fees. Cliff Castle Casino Hotel, at the heart of it all. Valid Sunday through Thursday. Some restrictions apply. An enterprise of the Yavapai Apache Nation.
When is Kate getting here?
Should be any minute. She was on one of her Goodwill treasure hunts.
Treasure hunt? Oh, here she comes. And in an amazing new jacket. Ready to rock, guys? You definitely are.
Where'd you get that?
Don't you love it? I got it at Goodwill.
Kate got it at Goodwill. With hundreds of thousands of unique items arriving in-store daily, you can get it at Goodwill too. Find your convenient neighborhood location at goodwillaz.org. Nonprofit for good.
Brian Adams, Roll with the Punches Tour 2025. A night full of hits, live at PHX Arena, Saturday, November 15th. With special guest Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. Get tickets now at livenation.com.
Superstar Car Wash, the car wash with superpowers. Sign up for a free car wash today. That's right, totally free for a limited time. Because we love what makes you shine. See website for details.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe Phoenix and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale Phoenix.
Got the NFL news dump coming up in about 10 minutes from now. We dive back into the Arizona Cardinals to start hour number 2 here of the program. I don't know how many of you out there play fantasy football, and fantasy football in general is just that. It's fantasy. It's not a real true indicator of who is good and who is bad in the sport of football. But I do think there are moments where what occurs in the fantasy football arena can teach us some things about the real world football that we watch every Sunday. And I saw a tweet this morning. Hayden Winks, I believe he works for Underdog Fantasy, put out a graphic. And the graphic was every team's wide receiver usage through the first 2 weeks of the season. And the way they measured this was by the expected half PPR. Yeah, sure.
I'm a huge nerd.
Points per reception. Half, you get a half a point for every reception that a player gets. What the expected PPR, half PPR output was for all of the teams. And the Cardinals ranked third from the bottom. The only teams who have a worse expected output from their wide receivers in terms of fantasy are the Philadelphia Eagles and the New York Jets. That's it. The only two teams that have an expected value of their wide receivers worse than the Cardinals. And I think that can teach us a lot about the state of things for this Cardinals offense. One, we would all agree that really is just one receiver and one receiver only. That really is just a look at Marvin Harrison Jr. for this Cardinals team. We know Michael Wilson's not getting a ton of targets. We know that Zay Jones isn't getting a ton of targets. We know that this is Marvin Harrison Jr. and Marvin Harrison Jr. alone. It's why we criticized the team for not getting a wide receiver too, because we were afraid of a scenario exactly like this one. Now, you may point to the Eagles and say, well, Chris, it's okay. The Eagles aren't throwing the ball to their wide receivers. A.J. Brown's off to a tough start. Devonta Smith is off to a tough start. What does it matter? They're winning football games. They're 2-0, just like the Cardinals are 2-0. Really? Are we going to sit up here today and compare the Philadelphia Eagles to the Arizona Cardinals? The Arizona Cardinals don't have Saquon Barkley. The Arizona Cardinals don't have that offensive line. The Arizona Cardinals don't have that defense. The Arizona Cardinals don't have Jalen Hurts and the tush push. They don't have that. There's a difference between the 2-0 Eagles and the 2-0 Cardinals. And this chart today just further confirmed my concerns that we had in the summer. Are you really sure you didn't need a wide receiver too? We said it over and over and over again. We talked about this offense taking strides. We talked about Kyler Murray being better. We talked about Marvin Harrison Jr. taking another step. We talked about what Trey Benson would mean for this offense. So we all mentioned that we think this offense could be better this season. We thought it was going to be an improved group, but still thought that there was something missing. And the thing we thought was missing was a wide receiver too. And this is a chart that shows that they're missing a wide receiver too. Everything runs through Marv. And I don't care at the end of the day how many fantasy points Marv has. But if he's not getting fantasy points, you know what that means? He's not getting the ball thrown his way because it's easy to just shut down Marv. Now, it doesn't help that Marv drops passes. I mean, he had a drop early in the game on Sunday. That good protection up front. Kyler makes a good throw. We just got to catch those. And so you have those issues. You don't have any real options behind Marv. And here we are 2 weeks in, about to go into week 3, once again getting concerned. And the only hope that I have at this point, the only real hope for me about this getting changed is that this team finds themselves in a position when the trade deadline rolls around and they go out and get a wide receiver too. Other than that, I think we're stuck with what this chart showed on Sunday. I think we're stuck with an offense that runs through the tight end and somewhat Marvin Harrison Jr., and that's it. And they're going to struggle to score a ton of points because they don't have a plethora of options. The Bengals scored how many points on Sunday? With Joe Burrow out, Jake Browning threw how many interceptions, and they still were able to score 30-plus points? Why? Because they have Chase Brown in the backfield. They have T. Higgins. They have Jamar Chase. They have multiple weapons that they can turn to. Do the Cardinals have that? Do the Cardinals have a trio of options that they can go to? They don't. And it's just going to make it harder and harder for Marvin Harrison Jr. to reach the ceiling. And I saw it on social media over the weekend. You got Malik Neighbors making play after play after play for the New York Giants, and Marv isn't making play after play after play for the Cardinals. So you have that layer on top of all of this. And we mentioned it yesterday that we really shouldn't be surprised by this because it's the same group as last year, and we saw what that group last year did. But this was just another representation of this offense, specifically with the wide receivers, specifically with Marvin Harrison Jr., giving you absolutely nothing. Giving you absolutely nothing. The only teams worse than them in this production for wide receivers in terms of fantasy are the Eagles and the Jets. That's not sustainable. Cardinals can't win games when they just don't have any type of production. Producer Evan, can you pull up Marv's stat lines from the first 2 games? Because I have not committed them to memory just yet. I don't think when we pull this up and we break down these numbers, the Cardinals are going to be able to get away with this being their number 1 wide receiver every week. I just don't think they can live in that world.
Week 1 at New Orleans, 6 targets, 5 grabs, 71 and a touchdown. Home against Carolina in week 2, 5 targets, 2 grabs, 27 yards, no touchdowns.
You can't have that game on Sunday. You can't have that performance from Sunday. Michael points out over on the YouTube side of things, run, 5-yard pass to Trey McBride. It does feel like that at times. And you can't expect anything different because the same coach, it's the same personnel, it's the same offensive identity that they had last year, the year before. And you thought internally that there would be a jump from Marvin that would help a lot of this. But even with an internal jump from Marvin, we said it after the week 1 game, that those numbers would be good enough. These numbers from Sunday, what was it? 5 catches, 2 yards? 5 targets, 2 catches, 20-something yards? That's it. That's all Marv got them. And I don't want to put this all on Marv, although he shares some of the blame here. They just need to be better, and I don't know where they can get better. I don't know who fixes this. Is it just as simple as Marv having a better output? It's going to be harder when teams just decide, you know what, we're just going to take Marv away. You want to try to beat us with Trey McBride? Go right ahead. We're just going to take away the number 4 overall pick. We're going to make sure that you can't get the ball into his hands because he can be a game changer. He drew a pass interference penalty on one of the first plays of the game. And now I've got fantasy football numbers that point out that this offense, when it comes to the wide receivers, is not very good. Now, I knew bringing up Marv, it's just like, Beetlejuice? I just knew when I said Marv's name that this would happen. It's clockwork. I just knew he would call in because now he'll probably give me the stat that he was trying to give me a couple of weeks ago when we were doing the picks that I just completely ignored and I don't even remember what it was. But I knew when I mentioned Marv's name that this is when I would hear from Brian today. So, all right, Brian, go ahead.
Oh, hey, Chris, you know me like a book.
Yeah.
I got 3 things for you. First of all, awesome job on the picks. It's like you guys got together and said, we're gonna get these listeners back in line here and bring the heat with 2, not 1, but 2 3-team parlays.
That's right.
So we'll adjust. We'll come back on Friday. Number 2, I think you guys went too light on the defense on Sunday's game. They were the culprit of this thing almost turning into a disaster. You can't give up 3 70-yard drives to Bryce Young and the Carolina Panthers in that second half. It's like, Gannon, enough with the prevent defense. We just need 1 stop to put this game to bed. And lastly, Maserati Marv, you're stealing my thunder here. My big question to you is you're watching that all 22. What are you seeing with this guy? Is he getting bottled up and he's getting no separation? Is he attacking the routes? Is he finishing the routes? Why is he invisible out there? And like you said, Neighbors is like a human highlight reel. Thanks. I'll hang up and listen.
I want to address the second point first, and then I'll tell you what we saw, at least from Marv, in what we've watched so far of the All-22 this morning. When it comes to the defense, I hear you, Brian. I get it, but here's the problem. They lost 3 corners during the game. So if you're Jonathan Gannon, and I got injuries left and right, am I really going to ask my corners to go up there and play man-to-man or play some aggressive zone and get beat over the top? There's just not that much trust in the depth that you have with a big lead. What are you going to do? You're going to play soft prevent defense. And yes, did that invite the Panthers back into the game? Yes, granted, I will give that to you. But I think it's unfair to put this on the defense when they had the injuries on the back end, and they'll make the adjustments here if they're going to be without those guys here in week 2. And now if it's another week like that, then I think we can have the conversation. But all of the injuries that they had defensively, they had a big lead. They're probably not going to want to overextend themselves. They don't want the big play over the top. I don't know how much trust there is in the depth options that came into the game. It's just not fair to put this on the defense when it's not actually the defense that this team's supposed to be putting out on the field.
And I also think, and I've said this at length yesterday, a lot of time on the field there in the fourth quarter.
Right.
A lot of time on the field.
Because the offense couldn't give you a drive where they chewed up some of the clock. Now, for the Marv point, I don't think Marv is doing anything. I mean, he's open a bunch.
He is.
Kyler needs to just let it rip. Marv needs to catch the balls that he's supposed to catch. He had a drop early in this game.
The comeback drop was bad.
And also, one of the early plays in the game, and I mentioned it before, is Kyler scrambling out of the pocket. Marv is running a deep route down the field. He underthrows it. Marv works back to the ball and generates the PI call. That's what you want out of your down the field receiver in that spot. I might not catch it, but I'm certainly going to draw the penalty here on this play. So I think it's kind of a combination of things. Marv has to catch the easy ones, right? He has to catch the ones that are just good throws in his catch radius. He has to bring those down more regularly. 2, Kyler is missing some throws where he's just not letting it rip to Marv. That's a problem. And then 3, and I think they're getting better at this, there just has to be more early scheme-opened plays for Marv to get him into a rhythm, because I think we've seen this so far now entering year 2. When Marv is in a rhythm, when you get him involved early and often, it's when he can have a big game. So I think it's a combination of all of those 3 things. And yes, I mentioned it. Malik Neighbors is having a great year plus in New York, had a great day on Sunday. But you also have an offense with a quarterback that's not afraid to throw the deep shot. I don't know how many deep shots the Cardinals really, truly want to take. They want more explosives, but they don't want to. How many times did Russ drop back on Sunday?
Russ?
I mean, Dak threw it 52 times.
Russ threw it 40 plus times probably. I think it was 42. We said yesterday. I can find it again.
That's not the way the Cardinals offense is going to work. So there's just more inherent opportunity for Malik Neighbors. Now, if you wanted to say that so far Malik Neighbors has been the better of the 2 receivers, I can't argue with you.
And I think the bigger concern, and truly, is when you talk about Malik Neighbors is Daniel Jones, whoever else they ran out there last year.
Tommy
DeVito. And he had an incredible rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, he is, again, going to be great. And it took a vintage Russell Wilson performance in game number 2, but it's still Russell Wilson.
And also, just a reminder about Malik Neighbors. In week 1, he was getting into it with Brian Daboll on the sidelines because the offense was scoring 6 points. So,
listen, that's Malik Neighbors, right? Like, he is the superstar receiver that needs the ball.
I think we're going to be okay here with Marv. I think they're going to figure this out because I think there are plays that Marv can make that he's just not making right now. And I do think there are some throws that Kyler isn't throwing that he could throw. Now, the worry that you have is it's year 7. Is he going to make those throws? Those are legitimate concerns. But it's just, they can't, as much as we want Marv to do more, they can't just be Marv and everybody else in the wide receiver room. That's just not going to work. Jamar Chase has T. Higgins. A.J. Brown has Devonta Smith. Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill. Like, you need 2 receivers. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, although he's suspended right now.
Look at even Jacksonville, right? They thought they found their guy in Brian Thomas Jr. You go out and you take Hunter. You move up in the draft to go get Hunter, who obviously is going to play corner and receiver. But
did play some corner on Sunday against the Bengals. I was keeping a very close eye on when he lined up on the field on defense. Paying very close attention to that. But yeah, they just need more. They just need more from the whole group. And Marv is the poster child for this because he's where they invested the number 4 overall pick, and first round wide receivers this day and age just are walking 1,200-yard seasons. They're just walking highlight reels, and he has been anything but. But you also have to understand that, like, the rest of this room makes it easy to cover Marv. They just do. It makes it easy. And so it falls on the offensive coordinator. It falls on the quarterback. You got to scheme him open, and you have to take the plays that are there because you're not going to get as many chances. You're already an offense that's not going to throw the ball a bunch. Got to take advantage of the opportunities that you do get throughout the course of the game. 480-864-1060 if you want to be like Brian. I just knew when I mentioned Marvin Harrison Jr. that he was going to call it. I don't know what it was about, like, Marv in particular, but I said his name, and I'm like, this feels like Brian's spot this week. Because we didn't hear from Brian yesterday, and I thought that was by design by Brian. Because he knew. You heard the first thing he said. Because team listener, they're licking their wounds this week.
Brian knew. And
Brian's kind of he's the lead.
He came in
right
last week. He beat me.
And he's the lead negotiator. He's the lead representative for team listener. He's our guy that calls in the most.
Certainly.
He's not Michael or John over on the YouTube side of things, but he's the guy that calls in the most. So he kind of speaks for the listener because you hear from Brian. It was all crickets yesterday from Brian. Didn't hear anything. Didn't hear anything from Team Listener yesterday as we celebrated a 6-0 combined week. It's a good week for us.
It's a great week.
Team Listener, Friday, you're going to have to battle back. 480-864-1060. You can also join us over on the KDUS AM 1060 YouTube live stream when we come back. It is the Week 2 NFL News Dump. Get to it next. It's the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060.
The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio is your hub for everything high school and college sports. Join Vince and friends as they give you the full picture on student athletes and where they're heading. Live interviews with coaches across the valley.
Asking some of the tough questions.
Varsity recaps and in-depth interviews with tomorrow's sports stars. The Varsity Sports Show with Vince D'Alessio. Live every Saturday morning from 9 to 11 a.m. Here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
I'm Ultima Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. Every time one of my children started driving, it was terrifying. I am quite aware of the dangers being on the road. Thousands of accidents happen across the country. We see it every day. These families' lives will be changed in an instant. We fight for these families as if they were our own. We've become America's largest injury law firm by winning cases just like these. If you've been injured in a car accident, call us.
Injured? Dial pound law or visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Meet Barkley. When Barkley smells gas, he leaves fast. When Barkley hears hissing coming from a gas appliance, he leaves fast. When Barkley sees dirt or water shooting from the ground, he leaves fast. Barkley then calls 911 and Southwest Gas from a safe location.
Did that dog just grab a phone and dial 911?
Gas lines can be buried anywhere, so remember to call 911 and Southwest Gas.
Nitro Circus is back with the all-new Off the Rails Tour. World-class daredevils and FMX, BMX, skate, scooter, and more. Jaw-dropping stunts, high-flying tricks, and never-been-done showdowns. Friday, December 5th, Desert Diamond Arena. Visit Ticketmaster.com.
We are getting ready to crown a champion.
Championship weekend is coming back to the desert.
Let's get this party started.
4 title races in 3 days means there will be a buzz in the air all weekend long, whether from the grandstands, the infield experience, or the hillside. This is your chance to witness history and make championship caliber memories for the whole family. NASCAR Championship Weekend at Phoenix Raceway, October 31st through November 2nd. Get your tickets now at PhoenixRaceway.com. Ticketmaster, the official ticketing partner of NASCAR.
This fall, choose Primavera Online, and you'll be choosing a school with flexibility, personalized support, and an award-winning curriculum that's over 20 years strong. Now enrolling grades K to 12 at ChoosePrimavera.com.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. 2 Monday Night Football games gave us plenty to watch, but the biggest storyline may have come from the booth. Tom Brady, already stirring headlines this season, continues to blur the lines between broadcaster and minority owner of the Raiders, and now something resembling a consultant. Plenty of fans, even rival teams, were uneasy about Brady having access to production meetings while also holding an ownership stake. Last night didn't calm those concerns. Brady was spotted in the coach's box, and it was revealed he talks to the Raiders OC Chip Kelly 2 or 3 times a week to break down film. That's not just a casual owner. That's a hands-on football strategist. The optics were messy before, but this took things to a whole new level. Imagine if Jerry Jones with TV access was sitting in on game preparation, advising coordinators. The NFL would be in an uproar. Now the question is whether the league sees the line the same way and whether it actually does something about it. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. Pickleball is the fastest growing court sport in the world, and no one makes playing pickleball safer, more comfortable, and quicker on your feet than Tyrell. Tyrell is the first purpose-built shoe made specifically for playing pickleball. Tyrell shoes are made with the famous Vibram outsole. Remember, Tyrol. If you want to elevate your game, you want to play longer, more comfortably, go to TyrellPickleball.com and experience how Tyrell can help your game while making you look like a real pro.
Whoa! Jason Kelsey just found out that NFL Sunday Ticket now lets you subscribe month to month.
Yeah!
He just realized you can join and cancel anytime.
Ha-ha! Now that's what I'm talking about.
Now he just found $1 in the sofa.
Yeah!
And he just saw a great parking spot open up. Look, just because Jason's easily excited doesn't make NFL Sunday Ticket month to month any less great. Right, Jason?
Yeah!
Get NFL Sunday Ticket month to month and cancel anytime. Woo! Sign up at NFLSundayTicket.com. Renews every month during the 2025 regular season. Cancel anytime. Terms and embargoes apply. No refunds. Commercial use excluded.
It's the Dan Patrick Show.
Ben DiNucci, NFL quarter. I'm still going to introduce you as NFL quarterback. Being on the practice squad, what's the difference in how you're treated, lifestyle?
Honestly, nothing's different. I mean, there's 53 guys on the active roster and there's 16 on the practice squad. And the reality of the NFL is that guys are going to get hurt. There's a reason that these teams put a lot of effort into the practice squad, just like they do the active roster. It's really all the same. You're still traveling with the team. The pay cut's a little bit less, but at the end of the day, it's still great.
Live Monday through Friday, 6 to 9 a.m. right here on KTUS AM 1060 and the KTUS 1060 app.
Tuesday, 12:15-ish. Sorry about that. Didn't hit the right time. It's the NFL news dump. We've got to talk about what just happened there. I mean, the microphone.
You just pulled the microphone
just
off.
disintegrated into my hand. And this is why you watch on YouTube, because it is completely off of the mount. So I'm going to have to try to fix this while we do the NFL news dump. So I'll give you the music, producer Evan. You're going to have to work around my little project that I'll have to do in here. Where did that even go?
I think it bounced towards the wall. You might have to turn around.
You think it went backwards? This is why you watch
Well,
on
for
YouTube.
it
This is
would
why
be
you watch
forwards.
on YouTube, everybody. For this.
Um,
Go ahead. Just I'll multitask.
Burrow out for 3 months, going to need toe surgery. Begs the question, Bengals season over?
I think the Bengals season isn't over. If you were listening to us in hour number 1 of the program, you will know that I said that I think the Bengals are still going to be better than the Steelers when it is all said and done. Because I'm a little concerned about the Steelers' defense. Now, do you have the Bengals' schedule up in front of you? Because I just want to know what the next couple of weeks looks like. Because I think the best thing that they could do here is just get a couple more moral victories with Browning to continue their belief. Because you've lost Burrow for the next 3 months. If you get blown out to get to 2-1 here this upcoming week, it may be tough to recover from.
So they're at the Vikings next week. That's going to be Wentz versus Browning. Then you're at Denver, home against Detroit, at Green Bay over the next 4 weeks. I mean, that you could go over in that stretch.
Say it to me again. As I'm multitasking.
Yeah, you're at Minnesota.
At Minnesota.
At Denver.
You could be Minnesota this week with Carson Wentz.
Certainly.
At Denver. I'm not impressed with Denver. I'm sorry. I'm just not.
Nope, not at all. Home against the Lions. Big bounce back week in week 2.
I'm a little concerned about that game against the Lions.
Yep. And then at Green Bay.
I'm also concerned about that game.
And then you're home against Pittsburgh and home against the Jets.
If you go
3-3 in that
that's
stretch.
exactly what I was going to say. You go 3-3 in that stretch, and that would make you what? 5-3?
If I could get to 5-3,
what does that put us date-wise on the calendar?
Puts us at the week of November 2nd. Here's where things get easy,
So
Chris.
We still have another month, though.
Yep, so you have another month, but this is your stretch. You have Bears at home.
Oh, that's a win.
You have Steelers on the road.
That's another win.
You have to win both of those. You have Patriots at home.
Okay.
Then you have Ravens on the road. You're not going to win that one.
No, you're not beating the Ravens.
That gets me to December 7th, where I have the Bills on the road.
I tend to think you're correct that a piece of this went backwards because the one piece in my hand does not work with the rest of the now disintegrated microphone that I have. I mean, I'm completely just...
Are you going to have to change seats?
I may have to change seats. No, I think I can NASCAR pit crew this during a break.
Okay.
I just need to find
I'll come in and help you after
I just
this
need to
break.
find the piece that has just, I don't know, disappeared. But no, I don't think the Bengals season is over. It's really going to matter what they do here over the next 5 weeks or so. I mean, there's a world where they go 4-2 in those 6 games.
Yeah, no. I'll be honest with you.
They could be 6-2 without Joe Burrow.
You could be 6-2 without Joe Burrow. It's not impossible.
Now, it's just a question of
But you have to win the coin flip games. Like Vikings and Broncos, those are coin flip games with Browning. You have to win those.
You do.
You need the big stops. That's what it comes down to. I only need a few. You can count them on one hand probably, and you can't turn the ball over. If Browning turns the ball over 3 weeks, they're never beating a Kevin O'Connell team. It does not matter who is playing quarterback.
if Kevin O'Connell and the Minnesota Vikings win this week with Carson Wentz, you may just want to hand him the Lombardi Trophy right now. Like the guy just wins with everybody. Doesn't matter who's under center. It's honestly more impressive than what than what Shanahan does.
Certainly. Kevin O'Connell, way more impressive than what Shanahan does. Though, granted, I mean, that collapse last year, at the end of last year, was bad. Those 2 games against the Lions and the Rams.
I feel like I'm a weatherman outside with the way I'm holding the microphone.
What's the video where the kid's big on the internet? What's he say? Shut up, weather boy.
That's me.
Or
right
wouldn't you like to know, weather boy?
Yeah, that's me right
now. Yeah. Brady in the coaching booth last night had a headset on, had the tablet up. So they play Washington next week. He was, by the way, had behind-the-scenes access on Washington this week to call the game.
Now, there are rules in place. He can't go to the facility. He can't be involved in any production meetings on site. He can be a part of production meetings via Zoom, and he can set up any interviews outside of there, but they need to be remote. Those are the rules that are being placed on him. And there is no indication that he is violating any of the rules that have been put on him. He is well within his right as a minority owner to be in the coach's box with a headset on. He did not violate a rule last night.
No.
This isn't Kawhi Leonard potentially getting paid money that nobody knows about. This isn't a skirting of the rules, right? This is just him as a minority owner being involved. It's the optic. It's the optic of an owner of a team who's also a broadcaster sitting in the coaching booth with a headset on. Do you want to be the owner and do you want to be involved there or do you want to be the TV guy? Which do you want to be? Because it feels like you need to pick. But then, because I've seen some people say, well, the NFL has to do something. This is a conflict of interest. ESPN and the NFL are in bed together. They're in business with one another. They own percentages, right? The NFL owns a percentage of ESPN as part of the deal that they just made. So is there really there already is a conflict of interest. One already exists. This is it's a bad optic. It's a bad look. I don't think the NFL does anything about it because in their mind, he's following all of the rules as they have set out for him. I certainly have a problem with it.
It'll become a problem certainly soon. If this thing continues and this optic continues.
Does he want to be the owner of the team?
I think he does, right?
If he wants to be more involved and
he has to step away from the booth.
He has to step away from the booth. If he wants to give it all for the booth, then he can't be seen in the coach's box.
You can be a minority owner. You just can't be seen in the coach's box.
I saw the video and I was like, wow.
That's great.
That's fantastic. That really doesn't look great.
Yeah. Yep.
Because while I think he's following all the rules, you could legitimately wonder if he's passing along information to the coaches that are in that
eventually, booth. Even if he is following the rules, guess what? He's going to find something. Even following the rules, you eventually are. And if you're one of these teams like Washington, who had to meet with him last week and is now going to play them, you have to understand, like, hey, we got the Raiders in 2 weeks. Don't go off talking to Tom.
Right, now it impacts the broadcast.
Yeah. So one of the two is going to be significantly handcuffed. Last one, J.J. McCarthy to miss 2 to 4 weeks with an ankle injury.
You have a conspiracy theory about this.
No,
you need to share it with the listeners. You believe this injury is fake.
I think it's being blown out of proportion to what it actually is. And we have fixed the microphone.
Hold on. You got to give it like a 5 count to see if it falls. We're back.
I don't know if it's fake. On the last play of the game, he was moving pretty good. And I have seen on Twitter, I was just sharing with you that there's a Twitter belief that this injury could be to sit him down.
I mean, adrenaline does play a role in this. You can play through some pain, and then afterwards it really hurts. I don't see what the benefit is. You're playing a Cincinnati Bengals team who defensively has played well for the first 2 weeks, but notoriously isn't good defensively.
You would think on their schedule you would want him to play against Cincinnati.
And so I'm not willing to put the tinfoil hat on the way that you were this morning. I legitimately think he's hurt. And at the same time, he also was hurt last year. You want him to get every rep imaginable right now. Good or bad, you want every rep imaginable. Now, he hasn't been good outside of the 1/4 quarter against Chicago.
That's really it.
The other 7 quarters have been really bad.
Really bad. I mean, he was really bad.
Now, the offensive line on Sunday was brutal. They were already down their left tackle.
I'll tell you, that was
center Ryan Kelly went down in the game, and it was over from there.
2 games, to be honest, where they've been brutal. I thought they weren't good in the Bears game. The Bears in the first half, really, I thought dominated the line of scrimmage.
So that's a problem for a young quarterback to navigate as well. You have an offensive line in front of you that's really not doing a great job protecting.
Another kind of fun stat. So Carson's going to start this week, obviously. That will be the first quarterback in NFL history to start a game for 6 different teams in 6 different years.
So
ready?
Let me try.
Yeah.
The Eagles. The Colts. The Commanders. Now, this is where I have a couple of teams. I don't know if I'm in the right order yet.
Okay. I don't know if you'll be in the right order,
so
but
let me give it a shot.
Yeah.
The Chiefs. Was he not in Kansas City?
He was.
It was later on, right?
I think it's later on. I don't know the exact order.
It's not the next step. But is the Chiefs one of the teams?
Chiefs is one of the teams.
Obviously, now the Vikings.
That's
you need
5.
One more. I need one more. Where else did Carson Wentz play? Where else was Carson Wentz a backup?
Yeah, so you got it a little off.
The Chiefs I knew was more recent.
The Chiefs was last year. 2 years ago, he started 1 game.
For the Los Angeles Rams.
6
for 6. There you go.
There you go.
That's incredible. And that is how we will end the Week 2 NFL News Dump. Microphone back up. Look at me. It was only the one piece.
We're back in business.
It was only this one
I know.
piece.
It was only like the little...
And it went that way, and there was a screw that I thought was associated, but it didn't really work. So we're back up. So let me give you a little... Now we look okay. You got a manhandle.
That feels like a really bad idea without something to catch the piece that we just lost.
But it was in my hand. The microphone was in my hand. It wasn't
but if the piece comes... If the piece comes out, you wouldn't have got a good read on it.
No, I would have been fine. My eyes were all over it. When we come back, Zac Gallen last night joined some elite Diamondbacks company. Does it make him one of the best pitchers in Diamondbacks history? That's next. The lunch break. KDUS, AM 1060.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
This is Ron. I'm the president of Alaskan AC. Our main job is keeping you comfortable, and we hope that puts a smile on your face. But we recently met someone we just made smile just by being on the radio.
I giggle every time I hear you guys come on. My daughter laughs at me because I can hear the jingle start, and I immediately turn the volume up.
That's our new friend, Charisse. Not a customer, just somebody who needed a laugh, and we just happened by.
My husband passed away 5 years ago. I was diagnosed with cancer 5 years ago. I fell into a very dark depression. You guys make me so happy, so I can't say thank you enough. I really, truly can't.
That's awesome. No matter how we made you happy, we just want to say thanks. You're the reason we've been keeping Arizona chill since 1972.
The Grizz cracks me up. And I've actually repeated it to people because some of them don't know who you guys are. Mm-hmm. So I have to say, you have to listen to them. They're so funny.
Reach out anytime at alaskanac.com.
We believe everyone deserves access to fresh food. That's why the Kroger Company created the Zero Hunger, Zero Waste program to share fresh food with the people in our communities. Our program and foundations have donated 3 billion meals since 2017. That's nearly 10 meals for every person in the U.S. Together, we can do more for our neighbors. Just round up your purchase at checkout. Fry's, fresh for everyone.
Global Credit Union, how can I help you?
It's one of those voice prompts.
Representative! Good morning. How can I help?
Wait, is this a real person?
It's 2 a.m.
We're here to help members 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year.
Impossible.
At Global, possible. Learn more at globalcu.org. Global Credit Union, your world of financial possibilities.
Prepare for the Maximum Fun Tour. A day to remember. Yellow Card. Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater. Saturday, October 25th. Special guests, The Wonder Years and Dinosaur Pileup. Tickets from $30. On sale now at livenation.com. A day to remember. Yellow Card. Part of the American First Credit Union Concert Series.
September 11th reminds us of a day when America stood under attack and stood together. We remember the victims, the heroes, and the everyday citizens who showed extraordinary courage. That same spirit of resilience lives in our Constitution. The Second Amendment protects our right to defend our families, our homes, and our nation. This is Michael with Restore My Civil Rights. If you've lost constitutional rights due to a past conviction, we can help restore them. For a free consultation, visit RestoreMyCivilRights.com. That's RestoreMyCivilRights.com.
Join in on the Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Everyone's against Detroit. They think that because they lost Ben Johnson, that all of a sudden Detroit and Dan Campbell are going to fold. I think they're still going to be good. Everyone that's seen The Water Boy, read by you, he had the green notebook. Once Henry Winkler's character gave Red Bayou the notebook, which is Dan Campbell, he was able to execute it. But I think Dan Campbell could Red Bayou himself.
Live weekdays from 5 to 6 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here on the lunch break, KDUS AM 1060. Hey, make sure you download the KDUS AM 1060 app. You have a chance to win 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks take on the Phillies over the weekend. Pretty important game potentially on the calendar. We've got your chance to win 4 tickets. You just got to download the KDUS AM 1060 app. Make sure you're registered and logged in while you are listening, and you'll be entered in to win those 4 tickets to the Diamondbacks when they take on the Phillies this Saturday down at Chase Field. Speaking of the Diamondbacks, it was a big win last night, 8-1 over the San Francisco Giants. They've now won 3 in a row. Zac Gallen led the way with 6 great innings, and in the process became just the 3rd Diamondback in franchise history to have 1,000 strikeouts with the squad. The other 2 starters to do that, Randy Johnson and Brandon Webb. So some elite company that Zac Gallen finds himself in after his performance last night. And it got me thinking about Zac Gallen's legacy. Where does he fit in with the other great Diamondback starters? How will we remember Zac Gallen's time and tenure as a Diamondback starter if this ultimately ends up being his final year? He's a free agent at the end of the year. Diamondbacks will probably put the qualifying offer on him. I think it's fair to say with the way that he's pitching here down the stretch, he is going to price himself out of Arizona. I have a real tough time thinking that these 2 sides are going to link up on a deal. I hope I'm wrong. I've been a big Zac Gallen defender and stan throughout his career here in Arizona, and would love to see him come back and continue to be the pitcher that he has been since the trade deadline. But it just feels like these important moments he's been meeting for this team since July 31st, you're going to see a nice, robust market for Zac Gallen this offseason. So how are we going to remember this run? How are we going to remember this tenure? And I think it's a mixed bag. I think there are so many that view the last couple of years where there were talks of him entering that ace status, that there were talks about him being a Cy Young candidate, and not really reaching that level, not getting to that place. But I remember what he did in 23, leading this team to the World Series. I remember what he has done this season for this team, and it's just hard. This is one of the best pitchers this team has had in a really long time. And I know you look at the numbers for this year, 12-14 with a 4.73 ERA. And I get it. But since coming here to Arizona, we look at full seasons that he's had. He made 23 starts in 2021, pitched to a 4.3 ERA. Then in 22 was 12-4 with a 2.54 ERA. The World Series year, he was 17-4, made 34 starts with a 3.47 ERA. Last year, made 28 starts, went 14-6 with a 3.65 ERA. That 3-year stretch, 22, 23, 24, he's been absolutely excellent. Another year this year in which he's made 30 starts, 31 now with last night's game.
has made at least 28 starts each of the last 4 seasons, has been a workhorse, has put up those big years, was great in 22 with a sub-3 ERA, was great in 23 when they needed it, was okay in the postseason, wasn't great in 23 in the 6 games that he started, had a 4.54 ERA there. But this has been a guy that allowed them to be in a position to go sign Corbin Burnes, that allowed them to be in a position to make a World Series run in 2023, to invest in 2024. And he was traded to this team after making just 7 starts with the Marlins in 2019. And he came here, made 8 starts the rest of that year, and was great in those 15 starts, 3-6 with a 2.81 ERA. And I just think Zac Gallen deserves a little bit more credit for how good of a pitcher he was when he got here to Arizona. And if this is the last chapter, if this is the way his story finishes, boy, is he finishing it on an absolutely excellent note. He is leading this team back into playoff contention. They start tonight, 1.5 games back of the Mets for the 3rd and final spot in the National League. And you have to look at what Zac Gallen has done since the end of July as a big reason why that is the case. I mean, he's been great. In July, he pitched in August, he pitched to a 2.57 ERA in 6 starts. And in 3 starts so far here in September, it's a 2.89 ERA. He is pitching like a Cy Young candidate. He is pitching like an ace. He is pitching like a workhorse. He is pitching like a guy who is trying to will his team into the postseason. And you just got to tip your cap. I mean, there's only 3 pitchers in Diamondbacks history that have gotten to 1,000 career strikeouts with the team. Zac Gallen is among that group. And I know how everybody feels about Brandon Webb. I know how everybody feels about Randy Johnson. And maybe with Zac Gallen gone, there will be more of an appreciation for what he did while he was here. But this is one of the best starting pitchers that the Diamondbacks have had. And they have had him for a large chunk of his career. This isn't getting Corbin Burnes on the back 9 of his career. This isn't getting Madison Bumgarner and Zach Greinke on the back 9s of their career. This is somebody that you traded for very early on in his career and spent the majority of his career with this team and has been excellent. And so I get it that it didn't end in a championship. I get it that it didn't end in hardware for Zac Gallen. But I just think that he's potentially going to end his Diamondbacks career on the absolute best note possible of trying to wheel this team into the postseason.
And if they get in and he has a big start that puts them over the hump to get that last and 3rd wild card spot, I mean, gosh, we're talking about a guy who has pitched in probably some of the biggest games the Diamondbacks have ever had, right? I mean, between the NLCS and this season coming down to the stretch, if it does come down to that, there hasn't been an argument over the last few years, in all reality, of big game start, who do I want going to the mound, right? You went to the World Series, everybody said it was Zach.
And it would be Zach for this year as well.
And this year didn't have the tough start and has had a great finish. And there have been other years where you expected him to make that jump and he just wasn't able to get over that little step.
Yeah.
But don't let that take away from what he has given you.
And he has been the reason why when you start play tonight, you're 1.5 games out of that last playoff spot. He's just been great in the 9 starts since the trade deadline. He had that one blip his last time out against San Francisco, but was great again last night. And it could be easy for Zach to just think about the offseason. Traded away a bunch of pieces at the deadline. Team's not going anywhere. But he is out there grinding it out every single start, and you can't help but look at the way he has pitched and feel like it has been infectious to the rest of the team. And it has put them in this position to where with 11 games to go, they're 1.5 games out of a playoff spot. They still only have a 7.8% chance of making the postseason. There's still a lot of things that have to go their way. But Zach's pitching, the offense, the overall turnaround of the bullpen in many ways, Torey Lovullo keeping things on the rails has led to where you are going to be scoreboard watching tonight, the Mets and the Padres. You're going to be paying close attention to what the Diamondbacks do. And every one of these 11 games feels like it is a 1-game playoff for this team. And every single night feels like it matters, like it is Game 7 of the World Series.
And I know it sounds crazy, but I think these next couple starts, and let's say it's 2 more for Zach down the stretch, maybe 3 if he pitches on short rest and it gets tight there at the end. This could be a big little notch in his belt on how he's remembered here in town.
And also, if we want to selfishly put ourselves in Zac Gallen's shoes, he's probably saving himself and or making himself a lot of money with the way that he's pitching here since the trade deadline.
And he knows that.
Right. And every one of these starts is increasing his value. And if he can go out there and get this team to the postseason and have a memorable postseason moment, win a game 1 or a game 2 of a wild card series because he starts that game, could help him in very many ways. 480-864-1060 is the phone number for you to join us here today on the program. Jim Rome's coming up at the top of the hour, but before we get to that, one more for us here on the lunch break. We call it the leftovers. All the stories we didn't get to throughout the course of the show, we'll get to them next. It's KDUS AM 1060.
Ready to tackle each morning with the best sports information coming at you?
I'm going to take a logical approach.
Get that weekday mornings on KDUS AM 1060 from 6 to 9 a.m. with the Dan Patrick Show. Dan Patrick, the Danettes, sports icons, sports legends, celebrities, poll questions. The Dan Patrick Show has it all.
It's a crapshoot.
Be sure to lock your dials to AM 1060 or 100.7 HD2 from 6 to 9 a.m. Mornings just got better.
This story is about us.
Tired of running out of hot water? Right now at Precision Air and Plumbing, get 25% off a tankless or hybrid water heater. Systems that deliver hot water on demand, take up less space, and cut down on energy costs. It's efficient, reliable, and perfect for Arizona homes. And with flexible financing options, it's more affordable than ever. Make the precision decision today and call us at 602-765-ICE.
A noisy garage door is a cry for help that often requires only simple maintenance. However, if left untreated, could lead to costly repairs. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello from A1 Garage Door Service. Don't wait until a simple garage door repair becomes a major problem. If your garage door is noisy, if bugs are getting in, or if it struggles to open, your garage door is in need of repair. From simple repairs to upgrades, it's A1 from day one. We fix garage doors fast and with quality parts designed to last a lifetime. Our springs, rollers, and openers are tested by running them up and down, open and closed all day, 24/7, so you can feel confident with every A1 garage door repair. Replacing the bottom rubber on your garage door can have a huge impact on the number of bugs you see in your garage and in your home. Keep those creepy crawlers outside by calling A1 Garage Door Service today and receive the best service, best parts, and best warranty in the industry.
A1Garage.com, A1 from day one.
Call today and take advantage of our $29.95 tune-up special.
Judas Priest and Alice Cooper.
No more, Mr. Nice Guy.
The Metal Gods, Judas Priest. The godfather of shock rock, Alice Cooper. October 22nd, Talking Stick Resort Amphitheater with special guest, Corrosion of Conformity. Get tickets now at livenation.com. Presented by 100.7 KSLX, part of the America First Credit Union Concert Series.
James Out West, your desert destination for sports here in the Valley.
You've seen Shador. We've all seen him. He's, kind of everybody gravitates toward him.
He's got aura.
There we go. Thank you, as the young kids say. He's just there doing his job. He shows up early. He stays late. He's not posting it on social media to post it on social media to say, look at me. What you see is when he shows up to a neighborhood in which just got burned down, the apartment complex, and he sets up food trucks. I can't wait to see what happens for him, and I think that they have a good foundation for the future.
It's James Out West, every other Monday night from 6 to 7 p.m., right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Back here, wrapping up today's edition of the show. Appreciate you joining us. We call this the leftovers. It's all the stories that we didn't get to throughout the course of the show.
We try to get to as many of them as we can right now. So, Producer Evan, what is on the docket today for the leftovers?
All right. We will start with, we have our first division clinched in Major League Baseball. Phillies last night finished off the Dodgers to clinch the NFC East.
The NFC East. They're playing football now.
The National League East.
Wow. They've taken over for the Eagles.
I can't even believe it.
That's insane.
Obviously won the National League East. They are the first team to win a division in baseball.
They've been very impressive all year. They've been dealing with some injuries as of late. Zach Wheeler out for the remainder of the year. Trey Turner was banged up for a little bit, but they've really haven't missed a beat. Just continue to play really good baseball. All the other teams in the NL East have fallen behind. Bad year overall for the Braves, made the pathway all that much easier for the Phillies. And then their recent, 4-game sweep of the Mets certainly put the icing on the cake and really made it a foregone conclusion for them to win that division. And in a National League that isn't as Dodgers dominant as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, that's a really interesting thing about the Dodgers.
You certainly have to think that the Phillies could be looked at as the favorites in the National League.
Did you see? So Brian Kelly and LSU beat Florida this week. Did you see what happened post-game?
I didn't see. Let me just tell you what I know about this story, and maybe you can fill in some of the details.
Yeah.
I heard that he got a little snippy with a reporter post-game.
Certainly. So the first question post-game, after a 20-10 win over Florida.
Just grinding it out against Florida.
Was what's wrong with the offense?
And scored 20 points.
It was the first question.
Yeah.
And he lost it.
Lost his mind. Like the time he slammed the table.
Yeah, that was
after losing to, what was it, Clemson again?
No, that was USC, right?
USC.
Yeah. But yeah, so he got real snippy with him. Just told him, like, this is ridiculous that this is the first question. We beat an SEC team. And today
I heard he apologized.
He apologized.
Yes, I heard. This is where I got looped into the story. I heard he apologized, and I was like, well, what did he apologize for? And I had to go back and see.
Yeah.
So I heard that he apologized today. Good on Brian Kelly.
I was going to say, good on Brian Kelly. I watched that SEC show, which I know you'll never watch, but I'm going to peel back the curtain here for you. It did make me, like, I've never really been a Brian Kelly guy. It did make me appreciate him more. Like, that show humanized him.
Yeah, I mean, listen, when you're just getting done winning a collegiate football game. I wish you were able to decompress your emotions and not have that outburst, but to immediately turn around and apologize thereafter, I think no harm, no foul.
Yeah, you just played an emotional game.
I think if you
against
double
one
down,
of your bigger rivals,
if you double down and you don't apologize,
then it becomes a problem.
You're a bad guy.
Certainly.
I think heat of the moment, I can understand being a little, adrenaline filled at that point, and you snap at a question. You just picked up a win, and somebody asks you, why does your offense stink? And probably they phrased it a little better, but that you get asked, why is your offense terrible? Yeah, you're going to be a little defensive of your guys. You just picked up a tough win against Florida, right?
Yeah, it's hard to win in the SEC.
And so, but again, good on the apology. And so in my mind, no harm, no foul.
ESPN wrote a story today. All 30 teams in Major League Baseball, their biggest success and failure of the season.
Real quick, Matthew does point out over on the YouTube side of things that SEC teams are hard to beat. He knows from experience. I'm assuming Matthew's an ASU guy. I think that was the point.
You'd have to imagine.
I think that's the joke there, is that ASU lost to Mississippi State a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Hard to win in the SEC.
Hard to win in the SEC. Please continue. Sorry.
Biggest success for the Diamondbacks this year. Would you like to take a stab at it? Take a guess.
I mean, I'll just do it just to be funny. The biggest success. I mean, Geraldo Perdomo. Yeah, it just has to be. He's the best player on the team.
Certainly. Most of the good news for Arizona this season has been of the position player side, led by a career year for Perdomo. After signing a 4-year extension that doesn't kick in until next year.
Yeah.
The 25-year-old went out and put up the best season by a shortstop in franchise history. Already a defensive standout, Perdomo entered the season with 14 career home runs. This year, he has had 19 and is on pace to drive in 100 runs. He also might get to 100 runs scored and 30 steals. It's been an MVP-level showing for the shortstop.
Absolutely. I mean, he's going to get MVP votes. He'll probably get like third or fourth place votes, but he will absolutely get MVP votes.
This will go down, and I'm interested because we'll see how the year finishes, and it's going to come down to a big piece of that. If the Diamondbacks don't make the playoffs, doesn't it feel like in 5 years, people are going to forget about this season from Geraldo Perdomo?
It depends on what he does next year and how the team does next year. It is easy to remember how good he was in 25 if they're right back to being relevant in 26. But if there is, like many people believe there will be, a bit of a lull, now you're talking the last time this team was in the playoffs was 23. The next time they're in the playoffs at the earliest is 27. It is easy to lose sight of, Mike Trout is the perfect example of this, right? Mike Trout has some awesome seasons that you just forget about because the Angels stink. Yeah. Same thing with Ohtani.
Talk about it, but even before that, A-Rod when he was in Texas, right? Like
just some great years that just get lost because the team isn't very good. So honestly, I think it really depends on how good 2026 is for the team.
The biggest failure for the Diamondbacks.
The bullpen.
It is not the bullpen.
It's not the bullpen. Is it a player specifically?
It is not.
Is it Torey Lovello?
It is not. It's the rotation. Arizona entered the season with the rotation that looked loaded. Corbin Burns, Zac Gallen, Merrill Kelly, Eduardo Rodriguez, and Brandon Pfaadt.
I mean, Brendan Pfaadt struggled this year. Eduardo Rodriguez struggled this year. Kelly was good. They then traded him. And Burns got hurt.
It's not really fair. Burns went down with Tommy John. Kelly was traded. I mean, Zac Gallen he figured it out.
Zach's doing great right now.
And we knew what Eduardo Rodriguez was a little.
I think it's a little unfair to put that on the entire rotation like that.
I agree.
It's going to do it for us here. Jim Rome's coming up next. Producer Evan, thank you for all that you do. Everybody have a great rest of your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See you.